Vaheguru, 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 Vaheguru.
Benji asked that, I mentioned that the difference between slander and gossip, and how do we know when we're falling into one of them, what are they, to recognize them. So slander is basically Nindya, what we call in Gurbani. Ninda is basically born. Where does it come from? Because that was another question. So slander comes from, like, everything starts from what we call Avidhya. Avidhya comes from, it means a lack of knowledge. Lack of knowledge who I really am. And from that comes duality, which is, from that is born the I. That I think I'm separate to my true entity and from Akal Purkh. So there's this idea of there being me and then there being you. And then that means there's duality. So then that becomes, there's a me, and then there's you, then there's that, and then there's everything else. Once there's duality, and then there's ego, from that the next thing that comes is Eerkha, is jealousy. And from jealousy comes then slander. And what is slander? Slander is basically taking something and a situation that's happened, but then, and saying it not as it is. So it's like seeing something and then increasing it. Kisi cheez nu vada ke kehna. So basically not saying it as it is. So I can be speaking to Benji, I can say that, like, you know, someone just, like, you know, broke into a fight, and they might have just said chup kar ja, and I'll come to say Benji, like, he was proper swearing at gandiyan Punjabi vich galan thok ke kaddiyan unne, and all he said was chup karke beh ja. You know, so that would have been in there, like, I've gone away from the true concept of it and I've increased it. Or I've not said it how it is and I've taken it lower. So then he actually might have said something really raw to her and swore at her, and I'm there trying to protect. I'm saying, no, kuch nahi hoya, unne udda hi mara je, unnu kya siga. You know, but he's actually rinsed her. So then that's not saying it as it is as well. So then that's Nindya. Okay, what does Nindya cause is, it actually causes to start completely destroying our inner self. We start to burn. Guru Arjan Dev Ji said that one thing I realized, the first thing I did was when I realized I want to merge back into the Akal Purkh, obviously they're talking for us. They're saying, Prathame shod parai ninda. This first thing I did was I let go of is slandering other people. This is because I knew to be successful on this path, this is one thing that's going to completely destroy me. This is Prathame shod parai ninda. Uttar gai sab man ki chinda. And what that means is, chinda means these anxieties. And they said, wow. They said, the moment I let go of slandering, all my mind's tension, anxiety just started to soothe and start to go. And I always say this, isn't Gurbani amazing? We talk about, every time somebody talks about science and Sikhi, and they'll always say, yeah, patala, patal. I was like, no, not only that is science and Sikhi, this is science and Sikhi. This is Guru Sahib Ji telling us how to live a healthier life. You know, when we go to the doctor and you say, like, you know, I'm really suffering with anxiety and, you know, my mind's just not settling. Will the doctor ever say, yeah. You wouldn't expect the doctors to say that to you. But Guru Arjan Dev Ji saying that, you know what? If your mind is taken over by anxiety, it's due to your slandering. It's not, I'm not saying it's the only cause, but Guru Sahib Ji is telling us it's a cause. So you know how we're finding so much depression nowadays? We're not thinking to ask Guru Sahib Ji, where can it be coming from? If we start to become more conscious of these things, we can actually start getting rid of mental illnesses. Yeah. Uttar gai sab man ki chinda. Gurbani is that amazing. That's why when I say to people, connect to your Guru, read Gurbani, learn Gurumukhi, and make a relationship and have a connection with Guru Sahib, there's a reason for it. Because there's so many hidden things in there. Gossip. Gossip Guru Sahib Ji talk about as well. They say, Kanni sutak kan pa laye tabari khahe. So that's talking about gossip. Kanni, ears. Kanni sutak. Sutak means, how does my ears become impure? Kanni sutak laye tabari khahe. So that means laye tabari is the description of what gossip causes. And laye tabari means, it comes from the word itabar, trust. La dena. So what Gossip is when we're ruining somebody's perception and faith that they have built in somebody. Lied about it. And what is gossip? You know, the simple term when we say like, that's just idle chat. And that's what gossip is. So that is now different to slander, where we might be speaking about the truth. So I this time now tell Panji exactly how it happened. He only told it to just chop karke baja. That's now gossip. But it's gossip not simply like that. But this can be disqualified as gossip as well by me just telling her this. How? So gossip is when we're not going to do anything about it. It's no concern of our life. Me and Benji are not going to help that situation. We're not going to make, I'm not helping Benji to become aware of that situation because she might be in danger of that person. And she needs to become aware that he might do that to her. So then I need to protect her. That wouldn't be gossip. But if my intentions aren't any of that, if my intentions aren't to sit down and work out a solution for this problem with Benji, then it's gossip. But just when talking about something consciously because we want to help the situation, or I'm making somebody aware of the dangers of something because they need to be aware and they need to spread that because we've tried everything, every other means now, this person's not stopping, so I need to now make people aware, that wouldn't be gossip. But gossip is idle talk when it's not needed, when you're just having a kick out of it. And what it becomes is then a ras, becomes a bog, something you enjoy. Because these ears are constantly wanting something. Why are they constantly wanting something? Because my mind is unfulfilled. And I'm thinking, if I was just to hear some more of this, yeah, this is feeling so good. You know, misery. Yes. And then, and I'm thinking, yes, this is so good. But my mind instead is still not fulfilled, because that's not what was going to fulfill my mind. What was going to fulfill my mind was when I take in the divine words of my Guru and enlighten me about how to find true peace and happiness and how to spread myself with compassion, how to find compassion with myself. That's what was going to fulfill me, because we're not fulfilled. We keep falling into these traps, and it's like, and we start getting a kick out of these things. It becomes our appetite. You know, so it's like almost like you wake up in the morning, instead of like jumping down and say, Sanata kush. You know, anyway, you know, so is that,
just
all right,
to
sorry.
Add to that, there's that funky Lindo.
Moko lok nindo.
Yeah, and it's basically because, you know, by doing India, you're actually taking away some of their negativity for them, and you're taking it upon yourself. Why on earth would you do that? It's so hard to get rid of your own rubbish and work that we've got, you know, built up over all our lifetimes, and now you're taking on other people's just by talking about them, slandering them.
Just to understand that concept, because the Pangtiyan from Bhagat Kabir Ji's Bani, some people, they use that and they'll say, and they'll actually be doing bad actions and they'll say, yeah, it's good, people slander me, they take him away. But Bhagat Kabir Ji was so alert. They said, it doesn't work like that. This is Hriday Sudh Jo Ninda Hoye. They said, if your heart is absolutely clean and pure, and then you're being slandered, yeah, and you're innocent, they said, then those people, Hriday Sudh Jo Ninda Hoye, Hamre Kapde Nindak Toye, then they're washing your clothes, the clothes of your sin, they're washing away for you, they're taking that weight on their head. But it means that you've got to be innocent first. So that's how these things work. And Bhagat Kabir Ji wasn't saying this in like a negative way and saying, Nindo, Nindo, Moko, Lok, Nindo. He wasn't saying, ha ha ha, yeah, slander me, this is great because you're going to end up with all my sins, wow. He wasn't saying it like that. If you read the deeper translations, he's saying, Nindo, Nindo, this is, look, if that's what you're going to do, then what can I say? He's saying it in pain, out of compassion for people. Moko, Log, Nindo, he goes, Chal. Because if that's what you're going to do, he goes, but that's not what I actually am, what you're saying. He doesn't want people to destroy themselves. He's not an evil person. He's a Bhagat. He's like the most loving being you can have on earth, the most compassionate being you can have on earth. You know, he speaks about this innocence. He says, Kahat Kabir Bhagat Kar Paya, Pole Paye, Mile Raghuraya. This says, by being like this innocent child, that's how you merge back in with God. So he wouldn't be saying it maliciously and, you know, saying, yeah, go on. get more sins. You know.
Well, so, you know, a lot of these questions, I just feel like it's a lot of stuff we're focusing on externally. And I don't know the exact punctuation in Guru Sahib, but he says to look within us. The whole universe is inside us. So we don't need to focus on all this external stuff. If we fix ourselves inside, all this highs and lows doesn't affect us anymore. You know, all the India, all of that stuff.
But it's good to learn about what they are, because it's a process of being conscious, being able to understand things and seeing things for what they are. That is what is going to take us inside. When we're stuck in something, we won't have the opportunity to go inside. Yeah? Until our senses are running so wild because we're programmed in that way, it's going to be so difficult to go inside. Going inside actually means when my eyes have become satisfied and I've learned how to control them through my guru, going inside doesn't mean, of course my eyes can see inside. Inside, yes, there's that element of reflection on our own self too, definitely. Because Guru Sahib says, Bande khoj dil har roz, na fir pareshani mahe. This says that you're trying to get rid of these pareshaniyan, these anxieties. They said, the first step, so this is to complement what Vijay is saying, this is the first step they said to do that is, they said, why don't you have a look at what's going on inside first? This is, why don't you try and understand that Rog Daru, what is your own disease inside of yourself? But this can happen many ways. That's why the Mahapurukhs would always recommend that Reheras time was this time of like when the sun's setting and everything's just starting to calm. It's time to calm your mind and deeply reflect upon what you've been doing in the day. It's to awaken you that being out there, what have I been doing? You know, so Guru Sahib Ji is saying, yes, Guru Sahib Ji is saying that Sab kich kar mein, bahar nahi, bahar tolle so param pulahi. This says you're going to be lost trying to find what you're trying to find, this peace outside. This is Sab kich kar mein, everything is in the house of yourself.
Vaheguru